Hi, I'm Madeleine Edgar and I'm here again with another of my Marvellous movement Feldenkrais tips. And this one again is about being on all fours, but playing with bending to your side. And if you're standing up to begin with, you can do a body scan and then slowly slide your right hand down towards your right knee and see how far you can bend to that side without leaning forwards or backwards. And then test onto the other side, the left side, and notice how that feels. And is it easier or harder than to the right, or just different? So then you can come up onto your hands and knees and have your spine in a fairly neutral position, and slowly begin to turn and look towards your left hip, and notice how far you can see easily without straining. A few times. Come back to neutral. And notice when you look towards your hip or pelvis, does it come towards you or does it go away from you? Because we can do both, being creatures of able to do non-habitual movements. So mine comes towards me, but for some people when they look at the hip, the pelvis will go in the opposite direction, away from them. So try that and feel the difference. The shape of the spine and the ribs. And then come back to doing the head and the shoulder towards each other, the eyes looking towards the left hip. And then pause. And now begin to slide your lower left leg and foot out to the side, keeping your knee on the floor. Just swinging the lower left leg out to the right, keeping your toes pretty much in contact with the floor. And again, feel the shape of the ribs, how they close on one side and open on the other. The shape of your spine and ribs. Not so much looking at your hip now, just playing with that movement of swinging the leg out to the left and back. And then pause, and you can begin to swing the leg out to the left and look towards your left hip at the same time. Notice how that makes your spine feel and what's happening in your ribs, and always observing how you breathe. When do you breathe out? When do you breathe in? Or when do you hold your breath? It's really important to breathe out as you do the side bending movement, to soften the ribs so that they can bend. So let's try holding your breath and doing the movement. And immediately notice how the movement is restricted, that you can't go as far. So breathe in first, and then as you do the movement, breathe out. Feel how the ribs can open a little more on the right side, close on the left. And then come back to neutral. And now look around to your left hip again, but let your pelvis go away from you. And feel the different shape of the spine and ribs when you do it that way. And we need to be able to do both ways. You don't want to be stuck doing things only in one way. And then again, come back to looking towards your left hip, shortening your left side, lengthening your right side. Note the breathing. So you can play with all those movements and then at home repeat them on the other side. And another variation is to do looking with both legs going to the left and the head to the left, and then both to the right. So you're shortening your left side, lengthening your right, shortening your right, lengthening your left. And then you can also take both legs to the right and the head to the left. So there's lots of variations of this involving all the different parts of yourself, your eyes, your breath, your ribs, your spine, what's happening in your hip joints, and what's happening in your shoulder blades. Then go back to the original movement of looking to the left, looking towards the hip, the pelvis coming towards you. and back to neutral. So there's lots of interesting things to play with there. So you can do that at home. And every time you do it, it will be slightly different. And you can find my books at marvellousmovement.com. Bye.